doing the thing.
Hey, what is happening, everybody? You've never seen this face before, probably, but you're going to see it tonight. I am Josh Nealis from Cutthroat Comics out of Findlay, Ohio, and we are Ohio's most offbeat publishing company since 2015. So stick around, learn all about how wonderful and amazing I am, and
we're on splash pages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the one obvious thing.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly.
Use the front door!
Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh. Hey, everybody. It's Leo from Splash Pages. Gosh darn, I don't know how I do this, but I got trapped in a box. Like, I thought it was a rhombus, but it's a box. And someone has definitely put on some Gorilla Glue because I can't get out. So I'm really sorry, but we're going to have to do the show without me. So without ado, Carrie, how you doing today out there?
Oh, hey, Leo. Sorry to see you're stuck in a box again. I think you got to get rid of those after you're done with your 3D printing. You don't just keep them around. That's what I do. I keep all my Kickstarter boxes. But hey, everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Splash Pages. Sorry, we do not have a Leo tonight. I will be filling in with Reditosker. He's got his Jim Beam. I've got my makers and my nice little Kanban glass. Let's see how many more names I can drop here before we go. Let's go over and see how Drew's doing. Yeah.
Wait, who? Oh, me. Hi. Hey, everybody. Yes, everybody. We're on a little bit of a shorter crew, but still just as fun. Leo, as you've seen, is stuck in a box, and our good friend Jar Jar Jeremy is unfortunately not feeling well. So we wish them both the best. We'll see them next week, and we'll go over why later. But first, let's focus on the here and the now on this Tuesday. But will then be now. No, I'm not even going to get lost on that Spaceball conundrum. We have a fantastic guest here. Somebody who we were just kicking it with beforehand, super dope, really chill. And again, we love supporting our independent creators because, hey, listen, we all have to start somewhere. So If you're unfamiliar with his work, he's done a smattering of projects. All we got to read. You might recognize Stingray, Beetle Man, Ginger Avenger, Turkey Sharks. He also did a little work on editing. Tales of Shock and Terror, and of course, Cocaine Super Stronghold. But why let me tell you about his work when we have him here? So everybody, the one, the only, Josh Nealis.
Hey, you were doing fine, honestly. Like, you can just do the whole interview for me and just read everything off. It'll be great.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, got you. But welcome.
Yeah, welcome, and welcome to Loxley as well, if he is still there.
He's hanging out in the wings.
He's hanging out. Ratatosker would like to say hi to Buddy real quick.
He is here, the god of all squirrels. Buddy Skippy. Yay!
Yay! Thank you.
Listen, I need to say that's probably one of the most adorable bumpers I think we've ever done.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
So now we can say, see everybody, we have kid-friendly days.
Yep.
Like, no. Sometimes I'm like, we won't get that sponsorship from Chuck E. Cheese, but hey.
Yep. Got to mix it up from time to time.
Exactly. And then on top of it, I just need to say again, your son, Loxley, as a moderate Robin Hood fan, I would say, because I believe we were talking about that before, that the kid was inspired by one of your favorites, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which has, a mixed feeling about it. I loved it as a kid. As an adult, I realized there are problems. And talking Kevin Costner's accent disappearing mid-movie. Literally just put a hat on him. I was like, hey, everybody, look, John Dutton's going to fight against Hans Gruber. Look there,
Yeah.
But the funny thing is with Prince of Thieves, I don't want to say it's ruined for me, but I look at it differently now because I've also watched Mel Brooks's parody. So,
big fan of that as well.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Time, Loxley.
And honestly, as you guys read through my catalog there, there's probably a lot of Mel Brooks influence in a lot of it, for sure.
There's definitely moments of absurdity.
Yep.
You have a huge grasp on pop culture. I noticed that it's very cramped, and that's something we were told when we were introduced to you, that you are a big pop culture fan, as Drew is as well. Yep. And so, I think you nailed just about every time there was an opportunity for it. You got something in there. You got some really good zingers and and some abstract references as well. Where I was like,
and it was really funny. Our friend Justin Cooper, who's the one who recommended, it was like, you're gonna love this guy. He's pop culture. I was like, are you inviting him? Am I challenging him? Because I've got a pretty good guest. I was like, I don't feel like doing Clash of Titans with someone I've met. Like, I don't want to get engaged in some, dark helmet Lone Star thing. Like, oh yes, and your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Yep.
I was like, no, if he's a dude and I'm a dude and she's a dude, we're all dudes. Let's just meet up and talk comics and all that, without any orange soda whatsoever. So I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
I just don't like orange soda, but I love that show. But point is, thank you for joining us. So kind of at the beginning, you've been busy, but I always like to ask, how did this start? Like, what was your interest in comics? What kind of motivated you to say, I'm going to try doing this?
Yeah, it was, I was in a band, a heavy metal band for a number of years. And when that fizzled out, I was kind of going to college and transitioning from, being a drunken idiot into married life, and then having a child, in college and all that career stuff. So kind of when the band fizzled out, I ran like a movie review webpage for a hot minute, and it did not scratch the creative itch. And I had always wanted to write a book. And then finally, just one day, lightning struck and I had an idea for a novel. Mm-hmm. So I did that. And as I was doing that, I was like, I knew I wasn't going to get published, like, because I don't have like a journalistic background or journalism degree or anything like that, writing degree. So I was like, I kind of was doing some research and I was like, I'll just do it myself, So I opened up Cutthroat Comics, and as I was writing that book, I was like, well, now I have this publishing company. I was like, I might as well do a comic book. I loved comic books as a kid. I had Stingray and Snapdragon were characters I created in 6th grade for a writing contest that I did not win. So I took those characters, made them more for adults, and ran from there. And now it's like the Turkey Sharks saga, we call it, from Stingray 1 all the way to Turkey Sharks 5. So that's like 5 + 9, whatever that is, 14 books. And there will be more later. For now, we're setting that aside to do Cocaine Stripper Stronghold.
Yes.
But we will come back with after the 4 issues of Cocaine Stripper Stronghold are done. The next thing will be Buddy's going to get a one-shot.
Oh, yay! That's exciting.
Yes, that is. I can only wonder why you think that exciting. Thinking at me right. But I had to ask, just because having read your ideas, the first question I'd want to ask is why. But the other question is, how did some of these ideas come up? Was this just like driving Loxley to school and you know what? I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Or you're just, in the supermarket and you're looking at candy and you think, like how did some of the ideas like come up? Was it just lightning in a bottle, or did you just randomly you're like, I gotta write this down. I'm gonna forget.
It's so I learned from being in a band. I know the creative process and all that. So and like Paul McCartney, for instance, was talking about how he wrote yesterday. He like woke up in the middle of the night and had the melody, and he had like a little tape recorder by his bed, I think it was. So he hummed the melody into it, so he wouldn't forget it. And that was something that I latched onto when I was in the band, because even though I was the drummer, I would write, guitar parts as far as like I would sing them to the other guys. I wouldn't write them because I can't play. But I would always have notes in my phone and voice memos and stuff. And I do that to this day. I have my phone next to my bed. If I wake up, I'll throw a note in my phone. Sometimes it's ridiculous. Other times it's a good idea. But for me, I don't want to toot my own horn.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I've been doing this 10 years. I've written 15 comics, published 2 others for other people. And I think I've written like 15 some odd novels too. So it's like,
oh, nice.
My brain doesn't stop. I have a backlog of like 5 or 6 novels that I'm just waiting to get to, and comics. Like Buddy, I have the basic idea of what Buddy's going to do in my head. We're going to do a Rascals thing with the Teen Titans kids at some point too. So it's nice. It's never ending. Like and every time I finish a novel, literally my brain's like, oh, room for more. Here's another one. And it's ridiculous. It's almost frustrating.
Okay. So I have a few. Number one, toot that horn like you're in a ska band. Okay. Fantastic. The second thing, and Carrie, I need to know this just because he keeps bringing it up. What was the name of your band? And do you have any notable band stories?
So it was a wild ride. We were called Until Forever. I think we went from like 2008 until 2013 or 14, something like that. Okay. We were signed to a label before we ever set foot on a stage.
Wow.
I don't know how I did that, but I did that. And then that label sold to Warner Brothers.
Okay.
So we were like, oh shit, here we go. And then like 3 months later, Warner Brothers was like, hey, by the way, we're dropping every band but one from that label. We literally wanted that one band, so they bought the label. Wasn't us. Yeah, but we did really well. We our last album, which is all on Apple Music, has everything. Spotify has most everything.
Of course.
For those that want to listen to it, because I think we were solid. Our last album was produced by the guys that produced all of Chimera's albums, Walls of Jericho, tons of other Drowning Pools, like second album. So like millions of CDs sold, produced our last album.
That's amazing.
Yeah, as far as like stories, I mean, it's all the typical band stuff of, we had a tour bus and it would always break down and all that kind of stuff. So
I was going to ask who the Until Forever poster was for that made it onto the wall in one of the comics. I saw it at least once.
Yeah, Turkey Sharks. One, I think or two. I can't remember. Yeah, it's on the wall. That's one of our posters with the actual band.
Oh.
And then
nice.
Underneath is another character that I have seeded into the world, but have never gotten to tackle yet. And it's a British white rapper.
Yeah.
Yep. So
what was the name again?
Sticky Tape.
Okay. Because I remember saying British white rapper, and I was like,
yeah,
I want one.
Yeah, it's something I used to joke about. My alter ego was Sticky Tape, the British white rapper that only does Tupac covers. So,
oh my God!
Eventually, he will make it into the comics at some point. I hope.
I look forward to reading about his mixtape. The multi-platinum mixtape. Because again, I used to be a musician. I used to be a drummer, and I tried bands, and like in my scene, I don't want to say I wasn't very good. Because Ringo Starr is a pretty basic drummer, and he was in one of the best bands of all the world. But I tried, and it was like the early 2000s, and I kept trying to get like emo bands. I was like, oh, emo, wave of the future, and now I'm like, yep, all those emo kids went corporate.
It's hard.
So you saying you weren't a Neil Peart?
No, I was not. I was never a Rush guy.
We're not the Professor.
Respectfully. But, just hearing that, I was like, oh man, another musician making it. But what you told me about, what you just said about McCartney, Freddie Mercury did the same thing. He would have a piano above his headrest. So in the middle, if he woke up, he could just play a melody before. And I was just like, that's either genius or the most insane thing ever. But then he writes, kick-ass song. I'm like, all right, well, listen, clearly I don't understand the creative process, but
I will when I have downtime, like at my day job and I'm doing paperwork, generally, I watch YouTube, but I'll pull up like biographies on the big writers and creators and just listen to their progress, like their process and stuff. And usually I find that naturally I do those things. So I'm always like, okay, I'm on the right track if I'm hitting those beats without being told how to do it. So
there you go. Listen, that's very impressive because I very much need to get back to writing. I used to write all the time, and then life was like responsibility. So okay, we're gonna put this away.
Yep.
And that dust just keeps picking up. So I'm like, okay. Carrie,
I do that, but I sometimes don't understand the things that I wrote. Like I'll put down like White Were Dream, and I'm like, what? And then I look it up later, and I'll be like, okay, so it was a bunch of werewolves that had white fur, or at least one of them did, and they were parkouring around in stripper heels as they were trying to save somebody, but then they slid on gravel, and that's all I wrote down. And I'm just like,
okay.
It's a premise, but there's a lot of parkour in my dreams, but I don't know why. I tend to parkour on rollerblades in my dreams a lot. I can't walk straight through a room without falling over, tripping on something, or breaking a toe. So it's like my dreams allow me to exist in a world where I can move without injuring myself and be cool. But
I have one in my notes. I can't remember. There was one in my notes that was so stupid. I think I deleted it because I couldn't come up with anything. Oh no, there it is. But I woke up in the middle of the night, typed this in, and this is all of it. Let's see if I can make it see there.
See.
Something red.
It just says Gorilla Dad. Gorilla Dad. That's it.
Oh, gorilla. Okay, I saw the gorilla.
I woke up in the middle of the night, typed that in my phone, went back to sleep, and then it was like 2:00 the next day. I was like, didn't I have an idea last night? And that was it. And I was like, Gorilla Dad, okay, good to know.
Call up Keith Champagne. He'll help you with that. He loves simians. They're like in everything he does.
Keith has like any chance, if he can slip a gorilla or some sort of simian into one of his stories, he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna do that. And I'm just like, okay. He's like, yeah, if I ever got to write a Gorilla City story, heaven. And I'm like, one day, buddy, one day.
Yeah.
But Gorilla Dad, listen, you could just write an inspired by Donkey Kong story. Like, what does Donkey Kong do when he's not fighting Mario?
Yeah.
Goes home, pays the bills, And I was like,
I think it was like a werewolf situation where it was like, but like a gorilla, I think is what the dream was or whatever it was. But
that'd be cool.
So, yeah.
Just transform into a gorilla every now and then. Like, are you reading WTF? Because I think that's the one where it's like this kid it has to do with like this girl whose mom is an ex-punk rocker, and like now she's being a mom, and the kids are like in their punk rock phase and they're hanging out at school, and like the one kid, he turns into like a giant were or something, but he can't transform out, and she's just like, fuck it, you're going to school, I don't care, we don't have time to take care of this right now. And so he's just like keeps going to school. Everybody's like, ignore it, he's fine.
Is that a comic book?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Or FML. It might be FML.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm way out there, but you just made me think of it. Yes.
Take a sip of the burbs. But so back to your work for a minute.
Yes.
Oh, I need to ask, because you said that Stingray and one of the other characters you said were ones that you worked on in school, and you submitted for contests and didn't work. How are they different than their adult versions? I just have to know, because I feel if you did like a Kickstarter, and like you will get the original pitch.
Yeah.
These, I would be like, they've come a long way.
Yeah, I actually, whenever I get to the Stingray trade paperback, I'm planning on scanning those pages, because it's like 6 pages of the original comic book, and putting them in it as like a special thing or whatever. But yeah, Stingray, like initially he was black with a green cape, and he had like gambit hair, and then his name was Victor Vetrock, because my dad likes Corvettes, so I mixed up Corvette to make his last name. And and Snapdragon was the main villain there. And it's funny because when I read through the initial comic book, like when I made the one I made in 6th grade, the humor's the same. Like it's like, because they're in like a warehouse, and then like one of the henchmen is like, geez, how cliche that we're in a warehouse or something, so it's like still tongue in cheek and everything. But yeah, when I did this as an adult, it's clearly a lot more violent. And see, he has the gambit hair initially.
Right.
But we changed it once we got to Turkey Sharks.
Yeah.
And he had a full mask, so it's similar in ways. He used to be able to fly, and he had laser eyes. But now, and like the underwater base was from when I was in 6th grade. Like we kept that.
Right. Yeah.
So there are similarities.
Yeah.
So I don't want to show too much of it, but
yeah, the claw gun.
It's just cool.
The claw gun is from when I was in 6th grade too.
There you go.
I love that.
Yeah. So back to comics. Like, I mean, I take it as a kid, you were a comic book fan. So what were your favorites, and did any of them kind of inspire? Did any particular ones you was like, wow, this is exactly the kind of thing I'm aiming to do, or little Easter eggs in your work? I mean, like you said, you brought up Gambit.
Yeah.
So you're an X-Men fan.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. X-Men, Spider-Man. Trying to remember which ones I like read specifically. It was mostly X-Men and Spider-Man that I read. And then like a lot of the humor is kind of like The Tick, really I'm more inspired by like the cartoons that I watched on Saturday morning. So,
okay.
And that's why I like a lot of my comics. I like to tell people that the comics I write are for people that like comics. They're very comic book comics. Yeah. They're not like dark, gloomy super serious. They're fun. You know, you're supposed to enjoy reading them and have fun doing it, and that's
Not
the comics I make.
right.
I
Okay.
love how PM has this just total, like when he spends like 2 issues or better trying to come up with a name for their squad, and it's like, nope, trademark, nope, already used, nope, that's trademark too. No, you're close, you're getting better, you're getting somewhere. I don't think, you know, that's at least somewhat safe, but just like totally oblivious.
Even
It does. I mean,
Well,
I need to know,
fights
was he
all wrestling
trying?
moves, too. I don't know if you noticed that.
Okay, thank you. It was. I was like, they got all this stuff that they're doing, and they have like chat. Okay, you know.
Yeah.
But okay, that wrestling, that makes sense now when I see it, because there's no ring. But
yeah, he's doing. I think in the one thing he's doing Brett Hitman Hart's finisher move. I can't remember, now I'm like blanking on what it's called. I know he does like flying elbows and okay, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I have to be honest, when I like saw the title, like Turkey Sharks, I was like, what weird sci-fi like sounding project is that? Because I literally thought like I was like, did this like so like because again, this is proof that I've watched way too many shitty human language sci-fi movies, because I was like, what genetically engineered monster in Turkey? Like I was like at this, because I was like, I thought I was gonna read it like, you know, in a Thanksgiving by the beach.
Yeah, so it actually came from I had been struggling. That actually took me a long time to come up with the team name.
Right.
Probably the better part of a year. I was like, what am I going to call them? And I think I was going to call them the Pride, like Pride Alliance, and then that ended up being an LGBT team was already called the Pride. And when one of my buddies told me that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, got that. And then my kid was, you know, he's 10 now, so he was, I don't know, 4 or 5 at the time, and Baby Shark was a big thing. And I think I was singing it, and I always call him Turkey, like my little turkey.
Right.
And so I sang it as Turkey Shark, do 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 do, and I was like, interesting, the Turkey Sharks. And then I was like, well, why would they name themselves that? And that's when you guys didn't get to read Ginger Avenger, but Ginger Avenger's girlfriend is named the Turkey Shark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I caught that she was lost in different things, but he was kind enough to send us a lot of things to read, and there were a couple of issues that we had opening some of the links, but it like what we did get to read was really fun.
Yeah, no.
So, definitely. But there were a couple like I wondered how you got there. Yeah.
There's a little gap there. Yeah.
No, but like I said, like it was very funny, and again, him just running through. What about that? Taken? No. Dead? No. Old. Copyright. We do not have lawyers. You know.
What was Power Rangers? No. Rescue Rangers. We're missing some chipmunks. No. You can't have any of those.
I haven't read them for a while, so you guys remember more of the lines than I do. I think does he say the Mighty Ducks at one point? I think, and
the Kid Friendly wants to be the Mighty Ducks, and then they're like, no, can't do that. Can't have that one.
No.
Who we are discussing, by the way, is we're gonna do this real quick. His name is Pedo Man, but we're gonna call him PM because it's just that's what he's called in the comics after his first introduction. But I want to pull up and show his. This is from when he kind of discovers his powers. So he was. Is it okay if I give a little of his backstory before I put up what we're doing?
Yeah,
okay,
these books have been out for a while,
there's
spoilers.
Okay, there's a mad scientist who collects all this great paraphernalia from like boy bands and different stuff, and like mixes it all together and injects this kid, and then nothing happens, and the scientist dies, and then it's like years later, we get to be introduced to PM, and so he's sitting around watching Karate Kid here, and then suddenly like says Ralph Macchio, and his shirt starts to shred. And then we just, Ralph, Machio. And I love how you did this. I was just dying. I need to change my room. I need to do all this stuff.
And even in A Wonderful Reference, you got the green, kind of like an homage to the Hulk, which is kind of what you're referencing a little bit there.
Yep.
So
yeah, the main artist, Cristiano Reina. I mean, he's so good. He's so talented.
There you go. I mean, you got it. But
then there's totally like an Office Space kind of rip-off vibe going there during that, and
I have expected to see Milton somewhere like, excuse me, PM, you not give me make my stapler. You need stapler. It's a big deal, you know, big deal. You know, can set the building on fire.
And here's Buddy's origin story. He gets kicked out of a tree by a Ralph Macchio'd PM.
Yep, he gets kicked into outer space.
The second I was like, oh no, like I was, of course, the squirrel. Yeah, Carrie, show the follow-up, because of course you can't just leave this animal out in space.
Oh, I already, okay, hold on a second. I have to go back.
Yeah, because
that
kicked. So now we got to show that he did not die.
Oh, wait.
Did we?
Yeah,
did you show that?
No, I showed that before, but we'll pull, I had to pull up the thing again. But yeah, he gets kicked, and then if we go to the stingray, he ends up slamming onto the bad guy. I forgot his name. I keep wanting to call him a flower.
SETI stone.
The SETI. Yeah, the SETI ship, and they're like, so that's how we get Buddy, who, I'm sorry, is one of my Buddy's just, I like squirrels, you know.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
Buddy, I'm a crow girl, but squirrels are like my side thing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, you get your boost back. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so Buddy was actually named after a real squirrel. My grandpa, when I was younger, he would always feed squirrels out back, and he had one that would literally come up to him and eat out of his hand. And then we would be eating breakfast, and the squirrel would get up on the screen door and literally knock.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was wild. And then
that is so cool.
I did that, and then I guess you didn't see Ginger Avenger, but Ginger Avenger's grandmother is also my real grandmother, who I put in the comics as well. And
she was in one of the Turkey Sharks.
Yep.
Yeah,
so that was her real house.
Get up off your ass.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yep.
Yeah, she's the no nonsense kind of grandma. Just yeah, it's been rough. Get up.
Her dialogue was real easy for me to write because it was just exactly what she would have said. So
that's all that matters.
See, when it comes to flying squirrels, we have Icarus here, who is Icarus is a flying squirrel. He's Ratatosker's foster nephew because he knows he's going to need a liver in the future, but he doesn't understand genetics. So I just let him think that it's going to work out okay. But very greedy squirrel.
Animal cruelty then. But back to the books. Because again, reading everything, it really did feel like kind of like watching like the early stage Marvel, like you're setting up your characters for the Avenger book. So essentially, so I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. Creating the worlds, and then of course bringing them together. But
the whole Brothel City, is that that the name of the universe, or?
Yeah. Well, Brothel City is the city they live in, and because it's a funny name, but also because they're known for soup broth. I think it says in there somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I think silliness.
Hey, listen, nothing wrong with that. I was like, because it was like reading, and I was like, wow, this feels like I'm reading an Avengers book put together by Kevin Smith. Like it's
that's a good way to look at it, I think, and that's honestly what I meant to do. I was, because I actually did Stingray 1, and then PM and Ked Friendly 1, and then Ginger Avenger 1, and then I went 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, and then hit Turkey Sharks 1 through 5. So I set it up. I totally copied Marvel. Not even ashamed to admit it.
Nothing wrong with that.
How is it? I wasn't able to tell, but I'm assuming it is. Does Kid Friendly really have a British accent?
Yeah, I don't
Because
think
it's
so.
mentioned. Like the one guy's like, "You have a British accent," and he's like, "No, I don't." But he
Oh
keeps
yeah,
insisting he does. So,
it's just
so
because
I was like,
he's so much smarter than everybody else and uses larger words that they think he's British because he sounds smart. Kind of. Yeah,
okay,
I think pretty sure.
yeah, the guy who keeps claiming he's not his kid, and get rid of him. Go. We don't want this little British kid here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. I forgot about that. I intended on bringing him back as a villain at some point, and I may still. I can't remember. It might be in my notes. His real dad or whatever.
So, in terms of characters, I mean, you said that, like, obviously, like you said, Gingerbread's grandmother is basically your grandma, and he is that. Are there any other characters in it that are based on like real people? Like someone be like, "Hey, wait a second, I didn't give you permission. The hell is that? There's been to see some royalties, man."
Yeah, I mean there are characters that are, and I think in all my books and comics and novels and everything, like there are little bits of people in all of them, but nothing like direct where it's like exactly this person. Although in one of my novels, I did have three of my friends that I was like, "Hey, you're going to be in this book, just so you know." So but they were aware of it. So.
Oh yeah, it's really funny when people do that. I had mine did that for me in a horror comic.
Yeah.
Because I supported the Kickstarter, and I was like, yeah, you can be one of the characters getting killed, and so I saw it.
Yeah.
And look, it's me. I'm name dropped, and I'm killed by a ghost face with a fucking pillow. I'm like, right.
Yeah, I think it's PM and Kid Friendly 3. I think Cristiano and I are sitting at the bar having drinks, I believe.
Okay, that's the reference with the totally not us or what? Or yeah. Okay, cool. I was wondering.
Sorry for bringing you here or something. I forget exactly what it says, but yeah.
Yeah, but that was fun. And where did you come up with? Okay, the blasphemer was
blasphemer. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, blasphemer, and then was it the Tennessee Ninja?
Redneck Ninja? Yeah.
Redneck Ninja. Okay, he was from Tennessee though, right? Or was I wrong on that?
He might have been. I don't remember. Probably because I was born in
seeing those two duke it out, I was just like, where did you get these guys? They're just out of the blue. Okay.
Yeah, it's
they're great, by the way.
I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so I love ninja stuff. And there's a guy who Ninja Dave. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's called he kind of lives in a trailer and he does kung fu kicking and Judy chops and stuff. So that character is I wouldn't call it a ripoff, but inspired by in its ways. And then of course the alter ego of Redneck Ninja, as you read through, is totally not that. But Blasphemer, he was actually intended to just be kind of a one-off throwaway character. But Cristiano and I just love him so much that I was like, oh, he's here to stay. But I was driving through Amish country for my day job because I drive around the state of Ohio fixing medical equipment. And there was a group of Amish kids at this gas station just kind of standing around. And for whatever reason, I think there might have been 10 of them or close to it. And the statistic is, last I knew, like 1 in 10 people is LGBT or whatever. So I was like, well, there's 10 people. Surely one of them is. And I thought, well, what would that be like? So then I took He-Man and made him Blasphemer, more or less.
You just said that. You just said that, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "What would it be like?" It would be an Amish paradise.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just had to get that out there.
When you mentioned the gas station, then I was thinking like with the Redneck Ninja, and you were talking about somebody who just lives in the trailer and does stuff. Have you? Isn't it Ghost World, the movie where they have the guy who's hanging out in front of the gas station? He's like, I got my nunchucks. And he's just like, comes in every now and then to buy a soda. But he's just like he's like the 30-year-old gas station guy who's like hanging out trying to pick up chicks and look cool by being like a gas station ninja.
That
But
sounds right.
he's-
I've seen that movie. It's been a long time. It's a good one, based off a comic book. Not
Yeah.
much.
That's kind of what it reminded me of when you mentioned that, because it's like
Yeah.
only Redneck Ninja actually did know how to do ninja moves. He wasn't just like pretending to be cool. Like he
Or
actually
even, what's it, Rex Kwon Do or whatever from Napoleon Dynamite. I mean, there's probably a little bit of that in there. You know,
Out your system. Yeah.
So we really, Brothel City. I'm looking forward to. I'm gonna track down the Ginger Avenger so I can get everything put together, because the way that people teamed up and the way that you worked it, I have to admit, the first couple pages I was just like, oh wow, on some of it, and then but it, like, the more you read, it's like, okay, this isn't just like this isn't little kid stuff. This is like kid humor. There's a bit of little kid humor in it and stuff, but it's not just trying to be forced. It's not just trying to be in your face. It's just got a lot. It takes a little bit of build up to get into it, like only 10 or so pages, and then you're like, okay, now I'm following the story. That's why they're acting this way, and this is why this is going on and stuff. And so I really did get into it, and I'm hoping to read some of the other stuff. Now, the one that you're working on right now, the cocaine stripper
Stronghold. Yep.
Stronghold. Thank you. I'm like, there's another S word. What can you give us a little preview of what that's like? Because we didn't get a chance to read it, and I'd like to share that with people so they can get out there.
That sucks. I wish that one would have worked. I'll have to definitely look into that. So I woke up from a dream. So you have those dreams, like you wake up and you look at your alarm or your clock and you're like, oh, I got 5 more minutes. And so you go back to sleep, and then you have like a fast dream. I had one of those one morning, and as my alarm was going off, I was like coming out of this like tunnel from being asleep to being awake. And as I was like waking up, in the split second, somebody kept yelling that title to me, Cocaine Stripper Stronghold, like it was echoing. So when I got up and I was getting ready for work, I was like, that's a weird title. So I put it in my phone like I did Gorilla Dad. But then throughout the day, I was like, that's a funny title. I was like, what could that be? So I wrote a novel of it where a horde of zombie businessmen and a biker gang attack a brothel way out in the desert because they like cocaine and strippers. And it's like a post-apocalyptic thing, takes place 150 years from now, roughly. And I mean, it's a raunchy comedy, but it's super funny. And just the title alone, it sells a lot. Like I've had to reorder it several times. Almost every couple cons that I do, I have to order more of that. So I was like, well, I can't let it just be one book and done. And so I took the main character, Jane, who's the cold-hearted mistress of the brothel. And I thought, well, she's the main character. I said, how did she get here? So the comic book is a 4-part comic book series prequel to the novel, where the first one opens up Jane. You find out she's been raised during the zombie apocalypse on a penthouse in a high-rise that was self-sustaining. So she's never had to leave the penthouse. But her parents have died, and things are falling apart. She doesn't know how to fix everything. So she has to leave. And that's where that book kicks off. It's her journey from, inexperienced, rich, posh girl on a high rise to being a cold-hearted mistress of a brothel. And it goes kind of, because the novel is kind of like a Western almost. So it goes from zombie sci-fi and transitions into full-blown Western by the end of it. So it's really fun. And actually, if you're familiar with comic books, Mike DiCarlo, who is known for Death in the Family, the Batman story arc where Jason Todd gets killed by Joker. So he drew that, and he's actually working on the Cocaine Stripper Stronghold comic series with me.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. He's doing the flashback pages, and he did the cover of number 1. In issue 2, he's doing just the flashback pages because there was a lot more flashbacks. So I couldn't afford to pay him to do all that. So he's just doing the flashbacks. But Yeah,
Wow.
it's cool.
That sounds great. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're touching on two things that are making a major surge in comics right now too, which is horror and westerns.
Yeah.
There's suddenly a big flush of that is being like people are getting tired of superheroes just being superheroes
Yep.
and comics just being about superheroes. So the superheroes themselves are getting a more western vibe or a horror vibe, and just that setup of comics in general is coming out. So you're very on point with that.
Yeah, and you almost it's weird. You almost feel like generic for doing superhero stuff, even though I enjoy it, and that's why a lot of people like comics because of the superhero stuff. But I wanted to try my hand at something a little different. It's still humorous. It still has my brand of humor in it, without all of the pop culture references. I think there's a few, but obviously, it's 150 years from now. They don't know everything. But I think there is like still a Step Brothers reference in the first issue. But it's and like my shtick kind of with the zombies, because you have to have your own take on zombies, is that I felt that when they become zombies, they're still a little bit themselves. So they will form in cliques. So like in the novel, it's zombie businessmen. They like cocaine and strippers. But in the comic, you see like the old people zombies will gather at pharmacies or church. And then stoner zombies go to the parks and the gas stations and stuff. So that's kind of the shtick of it.
If you want to, I don't know if you've read this or not, but Jason Aaron's has something that is kind of it's not it's got a rich person who's been stuck in a like complex in a post-apocalyptic kind of setting. That's pretty much about the only thing that's similar with it, and it's of course because it's Jason Aaron, who I love desperately. It's depressing as all hell. He likes to take his characters and be like, how much can I torture you?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be a good story, but you are going to die and die miserably and slowly as we spell it all out exactly why it's happening. But he's got something like I said, similar to the beginning, like going through and not know one character doesn't know how to function outside of like the penthouse and the life and being like, oh shit, this is the world now.
Right.
But yeah, but it doesn't have any uplifting parts to it really. There's just kind of like, this is really bleak.
Yeah.
So with the ordering and stuff through Cutthroat Comics, I'm sorry, Drew, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Finish your
say, with Cutthroat Comics, are you in stores? Do you mostly sell at conventions and through your own setup, or do you have yourself set up in some comic book shops? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of my sales come from when I do cons. And as much as I love that, I would like to try to build up people ordering off my website more, or telling local shops to like, hey, get all this Cutthroat Comic stuff. We are in some shops. I can't tell you how many, like maybe 20. It's hard to remember, where they've all gone and stuff. And then when I do the Kickstarters, there's usually like a shop, bundle or whatever. So I don't always know where those are going. I mean, I send them, but I don't necessarily know it's a shop. It just has some guy's name on it. Yeah, it would be nice to have more people, because a lot of cons you have to pay to be there. So there's investment in that, and there's investment in the books. So it is hard to turn a really nice profit, so I can keep doing this at cons. So if people were buying it off the website more frequently, that would be nice. But yeah, we do some sales, and I didn't even know that the website wasn't taking like credit cards. You had to do it all through PayPal. I could have swore it used to be through credit cards, and they must have changed it. I don't order from my website, so I wouldn't know that. But luckily somebody was like, hey, did you know that it didn't do this? And I was like, I did not know that. So I spent like freaking a month trying to get that set up. So, but yeah, so now we take credit cards and everything through the website.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. And yeah, people, if you ever notice something like that, let the creator know, because they might not know.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, I was talking with somebody about a Kickstarter thing, and it was like the way their thing was set up was charging people like more for shipping than they were for the comic. And it was just because like one entry wasn't in right, so they just had to go in and fix one thing. So
Yeah.
so
I
so
know,
let them know
like,
so that they can sell more.
yeah, when I set up my website, I think I had like my mom go, I was like, hey, go buy something real quick. And she did, and it worked. And I was like, perfect, works, So
Mhm.
I never bought anything off there. So it was nice for somebody to tell me.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to bring up is I saw that on top of comics, you also do some, or you or Cutthroat Comics does some work on kids books.
Yeah, I have a series of kids books. There's 3 out right now. I will probably do a 4th one, and that would probably be it, unless I have another idea. But it's, Judy and Her Blue Cape is the first one. Judy and Her Big Stupid Bully, and then Judy and Her Irrational Fears. Follows a 3rd grade girl. The first one, she has to move to a new town and adjust. The second one is obviously about bullying. And the 3rd one is recognizing the difference between like being afraid of the dark and touching a fish, and then actual fears like cancer. So it's a good series.
That's great. Like,
yeah.
How is it marketing though when you're like, okay, at the end of PM, we're Peter Man, we have like, and here's a kid's book.
Yeah. It's, when people ask that, because a lot of writers, and this is something when I first started out, I read about a lot of writers, they stick to kind of one genre. They'll do sci-fi or horror or whatever. And I was like, I don't want to do that. This is my baby. Cutthroat Comics is my thing. I own the damn thing, so I will do what I want. So I've kind of, if I come up with a horror story, so be it. If I come up with a sci-fi, then perfect. And I've written all that stuff. So it's I write whatever I want to write, and it's almost I want people to walk up to my table at a con and find something for them. And that's part of the reason I did the kids book, because I have a kid. I remember my sister is 17 years younger than me. And I remember when she was learning how to read, she was sounding out bigger words and stuff. So I wanted to write a kid's book that was fun for a kid, but also slightly challenging, just enough to get them to, be able to read better and everything. And it's fun. Well, like my first novel was a dark comedy about suicide, and I followed it up with the children's book. So I wanted to do like a total 180 from this super dark thing to something lighter.
Are your prose novels available on like Amazon and such as well, or?
I believe did some of them are physically. I believe they are all digital. The problem with Amazon, and I'll say this for anybody listening, if an independent writer like myself has a book on Amazon, go ahead and buy it. But if you can get it directly from the writer, do that, because Amazon actually makes more money off those books than we do.
Yeah,
so definitely. But if it's digital, then do what you got to do. So,
of course,
yeah. I'm in a couple of anthologies, and it's you get what you get, but you get more if it goes from the publisher instead of going through the Amazon.
And they want you to.
You get it.
So my prices on my novels are $15 for the big ones, $10 for the small ones. So like the kids' books would be $10. But something like Amazon, like just to put it on there, you have to charge that amount. Like that's what they get. And then you have to charge more just to get any type of profit off of it. I think one of my books, they were wanting me for a physical book that it had to be like $30. And I was like, I'm not charging. That's not what I charge. I charge 15. So that's why I think a couple of them are still on there, just because they were there pre the changes. But yeah, I think all of the digital are available there.
Okay. If you put on your Amazon profile how to get to your regular website, that's a good sneak around kind of for people. They can like go, oh, I want to get this book that I saw here. We'll go buy it from there. And
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I print through Lulu for my novels, and it's just all through their website. So however it gets on Amazon through there. So,
but regarding your work, again, you being a comics fan and you've been to a few conventions, did you have any moments, meeting any other creators besides, the gentleman who's helping with the flashbacks in one of your books? Yeah. Did you have moments where you got to kind of fanboy out a little bit? You got to meet some of your favorite creators and tell them that, some of your X-Men favorites, like have you stood in line for Chris Claremont or something like that?
Kevin Eastman was probably the one that I usually don't get nervous because I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been doing cons for like 9-ish, something like that. And I usually do 1 to 2 cons a month roughly. So I've got tons of cons. I've met tons of creators. I think Eastman, who created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was the only one that I was like a little bit nervous. Him, and then I'm forgetting the guy that did Raphael's voice from the cartoon, Rob Paulson. For whatever reason, he almost made me cry.
Yes.
So my kid and I, every weekday that he's here, at 7:30 now, but we'll watch 1 hour of retro cartoons before bed. So we did all the Turtles. We've done some He-Man stuff. We've done, I don't even remember all the ones. Tick, Beetlejuice. I mean, we've been doing that for years. But at the time we were going through Turtles, and I walked up to get Rob Paulson's signature, and all 4 Turtle guys were there. I had already met them, but I told him what I just told you, and he put his hand on my shoulder and looked me like dead in the eyes. He's like, well, that just means so much to us. And I was like, well, that means a lot to me too, man. So, but I just had at the last con I did, I met a pretty prolific X-Men area artist. And, I told him we were sitting there chatting because it was kind of slow anyway.
Right.
And about halfway through the conversation, I was like, yeah, I'm Josh. I own Cutthroat Comics. And I kind of pointed at my booth down there. And he was like, oh, I've heard of you. And I was like I played it cool. But in my head, I was like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. So, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we got to meet Eastman Terrific Con this year. I think we were one of the few people who got an interview with him. And just like, again, I mean, if you know your 90s comics, I mean, you know about TMNT, him and Peter Laird. But just like he said hello to everybody there, and you shook our hand, and we have a photo with him, and it's just like I have nothing still signed by Kevin Eastman, but I have this photo with him, and I'm like, hell yeah. And I've also met Rob Paulson, and anytime him and Maurice LaMarche are sitting next to each other is just childhood made reality. They're 2 of the nicest, funniest, most genuinely sweet men ever. Like, especially if Tim and the other 2 of the Animaniacs, I've never seen 3 people who clearly still love working with each other as much as him, Jess Harnell, and I'm blanking on the voice actress for Dot, but all 3 of them are the nicest people in the world. So I've had a similar moment where I meet somebody and I'm a big cartoon fan, so I would tell them that, and they were like, well, that means so much to us, like, and they'll do the voice. I'm like, not gonna cry, not gonna stand and cry. Yeah, I am old miners. So
I've met so many. They say don't meet your heroes. I disagree. I think you should. I've only ever had one experience where somebody was like not even super nice. Like, they were nice enough, and it was somebody I wasn't buying anything from them. I just walked up because it was kind of dead. And, they were fine, but you could tell, like, I wasn't buying anything. So,
yeah, you could tell. You're not getting money? You don't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's what I always, like, I get super, like, I'm just like, I'm going to spend everything that I have. I'm going to be homeless because if I go up to somebody's table, I don't just want to say, like, you're awesome, thank you, can you sign this? I'm going to be like, oh, let me buy this trade paperback for $50 and then spend an extra this amount for you, or whatever. And Drew just shakes his head. And I finally had, like, it was Phil Hester who was just like, stop, you don't have to buy things. If you come, and I was sitting at his booth for a while, and people came up and were just like, you really, like, inspired me. I love that. I just want to get you to sign this. And, like, seeing from the side, like, not being the person and being like, oh, he's just acting that way because of the, but seeing him actually be so grateful to somebody for just, and being so chill. It was like, okay, I don't have to spend money with everybody that I go up against. And if they expect me to, maybe they aren't as cool as I thought they were.
And just for the record, I told Josh that I felt with Eastman, because I felt the same way when I met, like, 2 of my heroes, when I met, like, Brian Michael Bendis or Mike Mignola. Like Mike Mignola, you can ask Carrie, I'm a huge Hellboy fan.
Yep.
And I know 15 years later, and I just asked him, are you Mike Mignola? He was like, sometimes. And I'm just, okay, it's Mike Mignola. You need to sign my books. Can I get a photo? I'm wearing a BPRD hoodie. I'm dying. And I have that photo. Every time I look at myself, I was like, that was a great time. I look like my hair's been electrocuted, but that was a great time.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, meeting your heroes. I mean, Carrie's got to meet some of her fate. And the person on our podcast was always like, get a photo, because they're just starstruck. I'm like, documentation of this memory. And like, I'm like, I got it.
I take photos of the people. I don't take photos of myself with the people because I don't like myself interfering with the person. I just don't like photos of myself. But like, my first year at Terrificon, I got to meet Howard Mackey and Javier Saltares, and my first comic book ever was Danny Ketch Ghost Rider Volume 3. You know, I was just like, yes. So it was like amazing. And like, I spoke with Howard Mackey and like got an interview with him, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm going to freak out and I'm totally dying here and everything is just amazing. And he like hung out and gave me this big poster and stuff. And then like I met Javier Saltares and we were like talking about all this different Ghost Rider, and like they totally stole his design for the movie, but they put it on Johnny Blaze instead of Danny Ketch. It was like, and so he friended me on Facebook, or accepted my friend request on Facebook, and I'll like ask him, and all he does is troll me. I'll just be like, hey, do you want to be a show? And he's just like, thumbs up. I'm like, when would be convenient? Thumbs up. And he just never answers me. He just trolls me on Facebook. But I'm like, hey, Javier Saltares is trolling me, not like blocking me. So I'll take what I get. It's a win, you know?
Yeah. I think it just comes down to, it's like when they know who you are. Like we've been on for a while, and we've got to interview some really great creators, and people will remember us. Like I'll actually go, just like, oh my God, hey, how are you? And I'm like they remember my name. Yeah. Like I made it. But it's very cool. So kudos.
This guy gets me memories too. Yeah. They'll be like, oh, you're the one with the squirrel. Yeah. Okay. I remember you. Yeah. And okay, you can have, just because, yes.
But
yes, you give me a story. But
a story I like to tell, because it still makes me chuckle. I think it was right before the pandemic. I was at Wizard World Cleveland, and I was walking back from the bathroom, and I was pecking away on my phone, not even really paying attention. There was a girl in front of me. She was maybe, I don't know, 18, 20, somewhere around there. And I saw her stop, so I stopped and I looked up, and then Jason Momoa was like walking right at us, and I was like, it's Jason Momoa. I didn't really pay attention, and then he walked by kind of laughing, and I was like, why is he laughing? And then I kept walking, and the girl was still standing there, and as I walked by, I looked over, and she was like doing that. It was just so funny. It cracks me up to this day.
I've met Jason Momoa. It's one of the few moments when he stood up to shake my hand. I was like, I am so small, and you could crush me like a grape. Yeah. And I say, thank you, sir. May I have another? Yeah. So I totally get it. I have. You can ask Carrie. I had the occasional moment where I'm starstruck, and I'm like, I was like, what am I doing? I'm reaping. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
My mother is scared of him. Like. She was terrified of one of my friends on Facebook because his eyes are the same color. Well, they turn the same color, that kind of silver that he has when he's
Aquaman.
Not Namor, the other. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, the other one, when he's Aquaman, and she was like, his eyes freak me out because he looks like Jason Momoa, and he freaks me out because of his eyes. And I'm like, okay. And so like my stepsister is in love with him. So it's one of those, like, in my family, we have a girls chat and we like post them up, and like one person's like, and the other person's like,
That's funny.
Totally would have been that girl in front of you.
And again, like I said, we're coming up on time, and just wanted to say before we kind of sign you off, thank you so much for the time to sit with us and talk. Everything that you're working on sounds absolutely fantastic, especially not just comics, but all the novels you're pushing out, and I hope you get good sleep because
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of interruptions.
Yeah,
Like,
I work 7 days a week, weekends a little less. I probably only work like 4 or 5 hours on the weekends at this, but during the week, it's from I get up at 5:30 in the morning and I will work until probably close to 7. And as you see tonight, this is technically work, I guess, 9 o'clock. So I've put in, a very long day today, and it's a never ending thing, but it's one of those things I tell people, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to do the thing that you love for a living? So you put in the work for it.
Absolutely.
Well, we very much appreciate your time. Thank you so much for.
It's fun talking to you guys. I always like meeting new people and all that.
Yeah.
And Pyle, who's watching right now, owns a haunt in Ohio, and he's one of a couple of people in my other network that own haunts in Ohio. So you're in a great state for anything horror. I've learned.
There is a lot of that here.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Midwest being a place of horror, I can only imagine what movies have inspired that. This is another reason why I get a little suspicious of corn mazes, but we're not going to go there. But as we're signing off, two things, Judge. One, are there any conventions that anybody watching can look to find you, purchase your work, help get Loxley, into college, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
And what is the best social media, like ways that people can follow your work, interact with you, that kind of thing?
Three things actually, real quick. Kickstarter for Cocaine Stripper Stronghold #2 starts October 1st and runs through Halloween. So look that up. I'll have links all over the socials that I will mention. All right. As far as cons, I've got Marysville, Ohio Toy Show is this Sunday, the 28th.
Okay.
And then I've got Toledo on October 18th is Collectible Expo. I think that's Ultimate Collectible Expo. Findlay Library, November 7th or something. All my dates are on the website, CutthroatComics.com. So I can't remember all of them offhand.
Doing great.
But yeah, I usually do 1 or 2 a month. And then as far as socials, Facebook, obviously. TikTok is probably where I'm most active currently. Instagram is Cutthroat_Comics, but everything else is just Cutthroat Comics.
Okay. Great stuff. Wonderful.
And we'll make sure that we put up, I do a crowdfunding segment on the show. So we'll make sure that we get your Kickstarter going as soon as it is up and running. Or at least it might not be the first week unless there's like something. Do you have any like early bird specials going on with it? Or is it?
Yeah, my Kickstarters are not super fancy. It's pretty, here's the comics, here's some freebies we're throwing in. Here's the bundles. There you go. Like it's a lot of work. And I don't like the fanciness of a lot of them myself. I'm very bare bones. You're buying the product and that's what I want you to enjoy.
Being the person who does them, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We have one friend who she breaks it. You can't even see all of the different options that she has because she has so many, which is fun. But it is a lot of stuff to like scroll through and explain from my end. But it's, for the people who like all the extras, you got all the extras. But having just the bare bones, what you get, that's.
I am doing giveaways with this one actually. Every 25 backers, I'm going to give away a Turkey Sharks Kickstarter exclusive cover that you can't get anymore because I have some extra copies.
Oh,
so that'll be fun.
That works really well. Yeah, that's something I've encountered before, and some things, anything people have like, you know what you do to get even more? You offer something that you have in backstock with a remark.
Oh yeah,
just be like, and I'll remark it.
I did draw the first Stingray comic ever in 6th grade, so I could draw that.
Yeah, there you go. You have plenty of time to practice it,
Yeah.
Well, again, Judge, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really do appreciate the time. But we know that you're absolutely exhausted, so we're going to let you go so you can get some much-needed sleep.
Yep.
Remember, when in doubt, melatonin. And thank you.
Never knew that, but yeah.
Of course, yeah. Good luck there. Also, thank you to Loxley for doing the intro. That was adorable.
Yep.
Kudos to the kid. And just thank you again. So, like I said, when you're leaving, just press the exit button, let it bring to the uploads page, let it go to 100, and then you can close it.
Perfect. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with everything, and maybe next year we'll have you on again when you got some new projects.
Perfect. I would enjoy that.
Yep. All right. Have a good night, and good night to Loxley and Buddy.
Night.
Night.
And then there were two.
And then there were two.
Oh, so I think we should just go straight to the news, because then we can do the news. Then we'll do whatever Kickstarters you have, and then call it a night. So sound good to you?
Sounds good to me. It's going to take me just a second.
Sure, no problem.
I'm not as cool as Leo. I don't have everything queued up. There are no variant watches tonight, so we'll do.
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views. In the pages, heroes fly, villains fly under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News, your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun, it's a heroic cruise in the world of Drew's Comic News.
One day I'm going to do, and it's going to be hilarious. One day.
He's got his own podcast now, by the way. It's nice. So okay.
I don't know if we ever do, but if we ever have him on, he has to see that. Can you imagine?
I think so.
Absolutely.
I think that would be great. All right. So we have some news tonight. Drew is going to handle the news because it's Drew's News. Really short. Bam.
Okay. Yes. So, as we saw,
that's when you start.
As we saw this summer, we had Marvel's swim special Friends, Foes, and Rivals, bringing back Marvel's long-standing swimsuit edition. They're keeping it going with a seasonal twist. So this December, Marvel will debut the Winter Break Special Issue 1, which is a one-shot showcasing Marvel's heroes in stylish winter looks and cheeky cold weather scenarios. So we're going to have writers Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks.
Oh, wow.
Teaming up again with artist Nick Bradshaw, delivering a nice story with a bunch of top-notch talent like Kari Andrews, Annie Wu, and a couple of others, with a great plethora of brand new pinups. So expecting the X-Men, Avengers, Spider-Man, other fan favorites like over there, Deadpool, enjoying everything from snowy slopes to cozy saunas, showing off dazzling seasonal fashion. So Marvel's been teasing equal parts action, relaxation. So we're going to see the best of the Marvel universe in hot tubs, hot springs, possibly even hot yoga in tongue-in-cheek fun. So this, as you've seen there with the cover by Greg Land, this will be arriving in December. So
I gotta say, I really like the covers that Greg Land have been coming out with recently. They're quite fun.
Yeah, he's definitely a favorite cover artist, but more on that later. What's next on news?
Next, we have She Who You Always Walked Behind in the Game.
True. So Dark Horse has recently announced Tomb Raider Sacred Artifact, which is a new series starring the great Lady Lara Croft. Written by Casey Gilly from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, with art by Antonio DiCaprio from Kayla, with colors by Aaron Angolini, and lettering by World Design. So this will be beginning early next year, aka 2026. So this will be a 4-part adventure seeing Lara going on a worldwide hunt for a dangerous and familiar artifact after that a stranger has absconded after Croft Manor is burned down. So Croft Manor, of course, being her family home. So the destruction of it forces Lara to take stock of her life and figure out what's important to her. But this confrontation with a quote-unquote mysterious foe who's got their hands on a dangerous artifact will launch her into a cross-continental journey doing what she does best: raiding tombs and questing for legendary artifacts. So the first issue will be released on January 14th, with a main cover there by Taryn Clark. So this comic marks the first for the franchise since we saw Jackson Lanzig, Colin Kelly, and Philip Sevio's Inferno, which was released to coincide with the last video game in the series, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, in 2018. So this book's arrival will also mark the 30th anniversary of Lara Croft's debut in the original Tomb Raider game, which, as we know, launched on the Sega Saturn in October 24th, 1996. So
Wow.
if you're a fan, check this out. Should be a pretty decent journey.
I can't believe that was that long ago. It seems like I guess I wasn't a Tomb Raider game player, so
listen,
I
I played it somewhat, but I will say I do love when people cosplay as the original Tomb Raider with the
Square butt.
painted torso. I mean, I love all of them, especially, but like that is a special place in my heart because I'm like you go, like remember that questionable anime.
I have seen more than one article about the progression of her butt, and that was why you walked. It was like you set the camera angle behind, and you would see like it went from being square to a little bit shaped to where ooh la la, it became quite. And speaking of square,
yes, okay, so this one I'm excited because this is tying into the Ultimate. So, as we've seen, Miles Morales, aka Spider-Man, is currently in the Ultimate Universe, teaming up with their Spider-Man, the Ultimate X-Men, Black Panther, Wolverine, in a desperate battle ahead of the Maker's return, which will be in Ultimate Endgame, which is essentially considered the line's climactic event series that's launching in December. So as we know, that book, which is currently written by Dennis Camp and Cody Ziegler, who's the writer for Miles Morales Spider-Man, that wraps up October 22nd this month, which is essentially ending with Miles's return back to the primary Marvel universe. But apparently, he's not coming home empty-handed. He will be entrusted by Iron Lad, aka Tony Stark Jr., Tony Stark, with a handful of origin boxes. So those were, if you haven't read the Ultimate Universe, origin boxes were things that Iron Lad and other members of the Ultimates gave to heroes in the Marvel Universe as a reminder of who they could have been. Because in that universe, the Maker has essentially controlled the universe to the point where he's eliminated a great majority of Marvel heroes. So the origin boxes were meant to kickstart certain people's abilities and such. So yeah. So again, like I said, excuse me. Incursion issue 5 will be available on October 22nd. And Miles coming back to his original universe, dealing with the origin boxes, will take place in Miles Morales Spider-Man issue 39, written by Cody Ziegler with art by Luigi Zagaria and a cover by Federico Vicenti. So again, the point being is he's bringing these origin boxes. All it's needed to bring familiar powers to whoever opens it. So who's going to get their hands on these powers and what abilities are they going to gain? So these are going to be scattered throughout the Marvel Universe in 2026. So there's a lot of potential here for new stories and rises of new heroes and villains. So, I mean, what we're seeing there is essentially a sneak peek at Spider-Man 39, Miles Morales Spider-Man 39. And of course, the teaser cover for Incursions issue 5. So, man, that's going to be something else. It's pretty freaking cool. So,
and I wouldn't be doing my best, Fleo, if I didn't ask. Do you think that there will be like some mystery unboxings?
I honestly, I can't even say so, but probably.
Like it would be cool if they had like a superhero unboxing video, like on the, they're just like, what powers am I gonna get? Oh, I'm the Toad.
There you go.
I don't know. I always felt he was kind of the saddest.
Yes, but all right. So now that's the news. So Carrie, it is now your turn.
It is now my turn. I need to get where we're going here real quick.
Sure, but if I'm, it's not a lot of Kickstarter. It's been a minute. But what are we doing today?
Today, well, first, I'm getting some stuff opened up in the background here real quick, so that I'm ready. But first, I'm going to actually open 2 things that I got, or show off 2 things that I've kind of partially opened already, so that I could have the tape not stick on me. So forgive me for a second here, Drew. You may comment, but I'm going to full screen myself so I can show you guys some stuff that I got. And this is, I mean, we had Peanut Man earlier in the episode. We had a kid open the episode that is probably going to be one of our most not safe for work episodes this year. But yeah, so I got Tales from Aerotech Volume 1. It is, it's sex robots. It's an anthology of stories, and I can't actually open any page to show you what's going on because it's all not safe for work stuff. It's really fun. It's not total. I mean, like, okay, there's not safe for work sub content on every page, but it's not all horribly nasty. There's just a lot of naked people that I can't show you in here. But when I got this off of the Kickstarter, I also got, some nice signed little prints. This is an advertisement for one of their robots that you might want to get in the future. That was a print as well. Nice cardstock going here. Some fun little stickers. And then this was really cool. It's an enamel pin. Oh, wait, there we go. For the company. But it is definitely a 18 and older book, but it has some really like psychological stories and stuff in it. It's, it's like you have these robots and they aren't all, I mean, it's not horrific in ways that you think it might go, but there's some like, oh, what if they malfunction? What if this happens? Do you develop attachments? And it's got some really fun stories in it. It's more than just like, oh, this is, the P word. It's not just that. And then the other thing that I got, and this one is lovely and in a nice Gemini mailer, Zombie Tramp versus Hack Slash. And I need to see here how much I can show of this one as well. It's super glossy cover. Really nice glossy pages. This is, okay, I can show these pages. They go through and they're fighting in a mall, and it's just Dan Mendoza and Sean Gabern did it. The interior art is by Pablo Munoz. It's beautiful work. The comic is super sturdy. It's thick, and it also came with a bunch of little. I need to set this aside so I don't end up with my comics on the floor. But they tape these really well. Little sticker cards, and oh my goodness, there's a lot of tape involved on this one. I said I opened it up so I couldn't. I didn't realize this one had that much more tape on it. But yeah, there's Zombie Tramp. And here is our favorite hacker. And then just a bunch of these. So you get to see them together, but on the back, they have a little kind of lenticular thing going on, which is really cool. So yeah, that's something. These are the little fun little goodies. Why I'm always encouraging people to pick up something on the Kickstarter, because like was mentioned earlier, you get bonus things that like they're only available on the Kickstarter. This cover you can only get, or these goodies you can only get on the Kickstarter. So That's why I like to get them. So those are my two kind of naughty comics of the year. They just happened to show up at the same time. So it's like, okay, we'll just put them on together. And for what I want to show off, I got to get things ready here. Sorry. Again, I'm not as cool as Leo, guys, so it takes me a second to get everything pulled up here. But I'm doing my best. Doing my best Leo impersonation. Yes, I know. Okay, here we go. All right. So the first one we're going to talk about tonight is Punch numbers 1 and 2 from New Pain Productions and Keith Champagne. This one ends in 2 days, so this is why I wasn't on last week, so I didn't get a chance to talk about it much. But at 6 a.m., this is a backer kit project, not a Kickstarter. What we have here are some of the covers, and this is a Keith Champagne one. I really enjoy it. But the characters that we've covered before are Marshmallow, Kibble / Sushi, Flapjack, Crackers, and Apple. And here are some of the interior pages. This is the next generation of anthropomorphic heroes. They've returned and they're all new, all different, even more offbeat, exciting, extra, and strangely sexy second issue. Since the dawn of time, every country, every culture on Earth has whispered in hushed tones of strange, fearsome mythological creatures: the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, chupacabras, yokai, tall gray aliens, and countless more. They walk among us, behind us, beneath us, hiding in the shadows. They are the cold things that go down the back of our necks, the strange feeling we're being watched. They are the cryptids that have preyed upon mankind since we took our first steps onto dry land. Can a group of bioengineered misfits save mankind from an evil cryptid conspiracy? Well, you're going to find out. The cover art in this is by Rich Stenke with series star Keith. I'll go back and show this. Okay, so this is the Stenke cover, along with Keith Champagne's on the side. The next ones are Richard Miller from Kaiju Max and Sleep, as well as this one is by Xander Cannon. And this is a really pretty simple, straightforward Kickstarter, with the pledge levels being $5 to $25. Those include digital copies, physical copies, and Scooting and Ketchup tier. $30 gets you the t-shirt, and that doesn't include the book, so you order the book along with it. Or you order the book along with it in your add-ons. For $60, there are 5 available remarks each from Stonky and Keith Champagne. And there's also, for $300, original art of Keith's cover. For add-ons, $10 to $20 gets you 1 and 2 of the books, the digital body blow. It's a digital copy with a bunch of extras. And for $30, you can get the coffee mug. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing. They don't put a lot of extras in because they don't really need them. You can order some of the back stuff, and that's that for that one. It's really fun. I wanted to go through tonight, guys, and we will do a really long one next week. But Worthy Chaos Redemption with Carissa, who I was mentioning earlier, it will be reaching the last day next week when we bring it up. But if you want to go over and check that out, it's a Worthy Chaos Redemption. It's horror supernatural comics 1 through 15. She broke the internet again by making this, and it's just, there's just a lot of stuff going on with it. But hold on, I'm sorry, I'm having a moment here. Okay, I need to get this on. Okay. Anyway, Carissa does amazing things. Worthy Chaos, it has, the thing with it is there are like over 100 add-ons. There are plushies and coins and all sorts of different things that you can do with it. We'll do a really in-depth look at them next week because she's also got this great wooden engraved box and a bunch of other stuff. But like I said, I'll show you next week, but go check it out now so that you can get in early. And this next one, I was really fascinated to find this. I saw this guy on Wordloon, and then I suddenly was just like, oh my God, I have to show this off because this is really neat. So this is Evil Knievel from Ryland Grant, and I was fascinated. He's putting out this Evil Knievel comic, and a lot of people, I am of the right age, but I guess in my household it wasn't a really big thing. But Evil Knievel was a real life hero to a lot of people, and so Ryland Grant, who has so many credits to his name, Half Evil Comics, he's the publisher of The Jump, The Breach. This is going to be up on Kickstarter through October 16th, 2025 here, 10 p.m. So you have 23 days left, and it's already funded, but there's some great stuff. There's some stretch goals that I'm not going to show. You need to go and check that out on your own. But the legendary daredevil Evil Knievel is making a death-defying leap into comics with his very first full-length series from the fine folks at Half Evil Comic. Ryland Grant, like I said, The Jump and the Peacekeepers, artist Dave Acosta from Terror War, Elvira, and Dragon, letter HDE, and editor Ari Nelson with some real bitchin' covers by Ray Anthony Height, Flops, Joe Pinto, and Fabio Alves. They're bringing us this really great comic. They got everything cleared with Evil Knievel's children and the museums. Kelly Knievel is his son. They're bringing us just a fabulous story and some really, really great merchandise and covers. He was an iconic motorcycle daredevil. If you haven't heard of him before, I'm sure you have. He made the leap from rural county fairs to sold out stadiums through his combination of bravado, determination, promotional genius. He went out, he jumped things, and even if he failed and hurt himself, like there were rumors that he was in a coma after he missed a jump, he would go back out and jump something even bigger. He gave people just something to look forward to, a really emotional deep dive, and what it was to be a hero and what it was to be a man for a lot of people in their formative years when he was around. And these are some of the covers that I'm going through. The first one here is the standard cover that comes with everything. Everything else you can only get. It's by the way, Fabio Alvarez and Edson Ferreira, as well as Ari Nelson. This next one over here, the rest of these completely you can only get on the Kickstarter. So this is the cartoon variant by John Pinto. This is the vintage variant by Flops. The smooth variant by Ray Anthony Height. This is a limited foil pinball cover. There are only 50 of them. And this is an uber limited brushed. Okay, it is uber. It's hi. This is the uber limited 50 of 50 brushed foil Evil Knievel #1 pinball machine variant cover, signed, numbered, and remarked by Ryland Grant. This one is a 35 limited edition issue of a metal cover that is signed, printed on an actual piece of metal, numbered and remarked by creator Ryland Grant as well. This is some of the interior artwork you can check out. Here's one of his jumps going on. There's a lot of stuff that comes with this that is free. Everybody's going to get it. One of the things is the Evil Knievel fan club. You get free. You're part of the Brass Ball Society. You go ahead and you're going to get the certificate and this card that back to you. You're also going to get the Half Evil Comics Starter Pack PDFs of a bunch of their greatest hits, including the Ringo nominated Band Jacks #1, the Ringo award winning Aberrant #1, Suicide Jockeys #1, The Jump #1, and a special preview of The Breach #1, which is 230 pages of fun for just a song. You get this membership for free. There are some enamel pins. These are posters that were made, and they found old posters and recreated them on older pieces of paper. So they're very, very authentic. You can get these. You can get these enamel pins that are super fun. Ryland is also into skateboarding, so you can get these skateboard decks for $120 each. They are 8 by 32 inches, standard board dimensions, made of high quality 7-ply Canadian maple. The first one is the Kings Island Jump by Fabio Alves and Edson Ferreira. And the second is the Cartoon Level by John Pinto, because people just really love that design. You're also going to be able to get some of these different packs they put together. It gives you a bunch of different things of your choice to go ahead and pick out at a cheaper value than you're going to spend normally. And you can also get original artwork. This is by Davi Leon Diaz. They're roughly 6 by 8 inch things. You can get these as a pledge tier or an add-on, and you can order as many of them as you would like. You can also get, this is super fun, your picture taken with Evel Knievel. If you go ahead and send in a picture yourself, these folks are going to put it together and give you something like this. Davi Leon Diaz is going to draw you next to him. You'll get a high-resolution digital copy on the file and a beautiful archival print suitable for framing. Once again, this is something you can order as many of as you like as an add-on. You can also get drawn in for $250, drawn in with lines for $425, a 5-page story featuring just you and Evel Knievel for $2,000. You can meet Kelly Knievel, his son, for $5,000. You can become a producer for The Last Gladiator. This is one of Ryland Grant's projects. He has an impressive track record of setting his fiction and comic properties up in film and television. To date, his stories have attracted talents like J.J. Abrams, Justin Lin, F. Gary Gray, Robert De Niro, and David Diggs. You can become an associate producer on The Last Gladiator property. You'll also receive the agreed upon credit in the book right next to the writer, artist, color letter, and everything. And this one cracked me up. For $10,000, you can get a sword fight with Ryland. He will show up at your place. They'll work out the arrangements. You'll get all of the above things and stuff, and you get to sword fight him. The rest of the normal tiers are going to range from $5 to $180 to get those digital books, each of the different covers, the bundles I showed you, and the artwork. So it's just kind of crazy. Like, yeah, you can get, I've seen offers before you can get in a Zoom call with them for like $75 as well, if you want some advice on like how to turn your project into something. But I've never seen it offered before to get into a sword fight. And I really hope somebody does that and they post it somewhere, because I want to see that.
Wow.
That's just
I have no words.
I would never have thought like Evel Knievel and comic books would make me go, wow. But the amount of time and the stretch goals and stuff, and some of these things that they put together, like those posters, they're finding like old paper to print them on, so that it's ridiculous how much detail they're putting into all of this. And I didn't throw up everything. You have to go check it out on Kickstarter because it's just amazing. But yeah,
definitely.
So
okay, is that everything?
I want to give proper time to Carissa's. So like I said, go check it out on your own. If you don't, we'll do it next week, but then you'll only have a day to pledge, and there's so much stuff. It's wonderful. But were you an Evel Knievel fan, Drew, when you were are you? Or
no, I know of him, but I was never really the biggest fan. But I respected his work. His daredevilness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, all sounded fantastic. I really hope it gets fully funded and then some. And God help whoever spends the 10 grand to get in a deadly sword fight. So
I don't.
Yep. So I think that's pretty much it. So Carrie, I guess let me talk about our guest next week, and then I guess we'll sign off. So
yeah, sounds good. So
yep. So me, Popate. Yeah.
Trying.
Hey, everybody.
There we go.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you really like what you see here first time, please make sure to like and subscribe on our page on YouTube. Splash Page is a comic book club. We also are on Facebook as well. Like and subscribe so you can see all of our crazy antics. We're still uploading a lot of stuff that we took from this year's Terrific Con. A lot of great content coming. And we have a lot of great guests coming up. next month, and even the month or so afterwards. So just letting you know, it's gonna be a lot of top-notch, great creators. So really stick around. But speaking of top-notch and legends, next week we have the great, the awesome, the once Carrie scared of, but now is totally a big fan. The great Howard Chaykin will be joining us on this podcast. So we're gonna get to talk to him about some of his work. You know, probably might sing a little or two. Very excited, but it's gonna be awesome. So really looking forward to that.
Yep. And okay, I'll do that. I'll play the Leo. Hey, everybody. We had a great show tonight. I hope you'll join us next week. We're going to have another great show. You know how to find me, Carrie Sanders. Go over to Facebook, find me there. If you see an intimidating looking crow, that's me. I'm judging you. That's how it works. All of my links are there. But more importantly, check out this man.
Oh, me. Hi. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Listen, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. If you need to get in touch with me, I'm Drew Mallow on Facebook, Ghostbuster1984 on Instagram. I'm also Drew Mallow on Blue Sky. There's a lot of things I'm working on these days, so I'm generally pretty busy, but I swear I'll get back to you within the next year or two or decade. Point is, thank you. You're great and wonderful. But all
Sorry,
right.
I just like seeing how many of these we have. It's great. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night. Please like, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're on, and be good to each other.